Landlord Story live. I tried to do this a few minutes ago and it kicked me out. So we'll try it again live. One of the landlord stories I knew or I wanted to do for you is to really talk about our weekly phone conversations. How much work does it really take to deal with our existing portfolio? A lot of people I talk to go, "Oh my God, it's another full-time job." All of these things. Well, I've been very clear. Where's my book? Here it is. That we've had a property manager, since we started way back when in 2003. Not only are we not handy, or I am not handy, uh, we invested 2.5 hours away, uh, crazy demanding full time jobs, family responsibilities. It just wasn't practical for us to. When you watch this channel, realize that we have always had property managers, right? The one rental at a time story is by full-time employees with families and of what that looks like. Uh, and then going back to one of the previous landlord stories where I talked about actual income, actual expenses, where I broke down apartments versus houses, I thought I would break that apart again as well, because I think in today's environment, the bigger is better mantra is prevalent. A lot of people are thinking they need their first investment to be multifamily. And for most of us, myself included, uh, that's not the case, right? We own lots of houses, and thankfully we do. So, what I thought I would do is I would talk about houses first, right? For scale, let's just say we have 30 homes. So 30 independent single family homes throughout Fresno. They are all rented at the moment, so no vacancies. So I had the list right here. What happened? We had one toilet backup, which a plumber was called out for. They cleared the line and actually billed the tenant back because they had improperly flushed something down the toilet. Given what it was, we are guessing one of their kids tossed something in there without the knowing. But again, we called them out. We snaked the line, had a camera, found out what it was, got it removed, and billed back the tenant because that was their mistake. They will likely pay next month. It's not something they paid for. So we paid the plumber. That then goes on their account. They are responsible for, and they agreed once they saw what was flushed down. We do have one eviction going on in a house. It was actually in court. What is today? Thursday? Tuesday. There is a stipulation signed. The interesting thing about this is a house we bought. We are increasingly buying single family homes from frustrated landlords who don't want to deal with it. So we inherited this tenant. The tenant is a problem. So we evicted. It does take a while in California. There's no if, ands, or buts. It takes a long time. They fought it. We went to court. They filed a stipulation. So what that means is they owe us, let's just pick a number, $2,000. They have said they're going to pay 400 on this date, 400 on that date, 400 on that date. And if they don't, we go right to lockout. So we will see what happens. But they will be out, worst case, in 60 days, according to the stipulation. But we will see. So that is that. We did have to have a discussion on a house that we just turned. We are big on what I call pride of ownership rentals. If you don't know what that is, you can check out plenty of our playlists on walkthroughs. We have plenty of samples of what those look like. We just completed a $20,000 remodel, and we took a rent from $1,050 for what it was. After the remodel, it's now $1,400. And again, by remodel, it's not adding walls or anything. It's just new paint, new carpet, new kitchen, new bath, new windows, I think, in this one. So that was fun. And then we did have one code enforcement. One of the things you will see as a landlord is you'll get these little letters in the mail occasionally from code enforcement, which is a part of your community who go around and make sure that owners are treating their properties appropriately. In this case, the house had an alley behind it, and somebody had dropped mattress and debris and all of that stuff. So it does happen. There's no cameras back there. So this one happened to be behind one of our houses, and we had to go pay somebody to do a trash out for that. One of the headaches, but happy to do it. I think code enforcement is great. They make sure everybody is playing to a level playing field, and getting those letters, you know, they're a headache. But all we do is fax the letter to our property manager and say, hey, go get, or scan, sorry, whatever, picture, whatever, and then they go take care of it. And note, most of the time they're copied as well, which is pretty cool, but not always. So that's it. That's houses. And the reason I brought that up is because if you go back and look at my landlord stories for expenses and actuals or income, you'll see that houses on a percentage basis performed much better. So it's just always crazy when people think about bigger is better and they have these multifamily discussions. So interesting. So now apartments. Let's just say we have lots of those. So lots of stuff going on. We must have had 12 or 13 service calls out, most plumbing related, most toilet related. A couple was a leaking shower. I think one or two was a leaky sink. Um, I think about half, more than half those we ended up repairing. Washer worn out, things of that nature. Apartments just get used hard, right? There's more people in them, smaller footprints. They just get beaten up harder, and my expenses show that. We had some Section 8 inspections. I'm a huge Section 8 fan, but one of the things they do every year is they go out and inspect your properties, and they always find something. Usually it's little things, but I would much rather fix a little thing than a big thing. So we had two Section 8 inspection lists come back that we had to go repair. I think in both these cases, it was our responsibility. Sometimes it's tenant responsibility, but I believe both of these were ours. We had one broken window, which broke all by itself, if you believe people. Um, we were not in the detective agency. We just put in a new sheet of glass. If somebody would admit it, they would have likely been billed. Again, it's shocking how many times windows break and nobody did it. It's just must be in the glass. I don't know. And then we already talked about. The other thing to talk about is payment plans. We have a couple of payment plans going on from past evictions that we did called stipulations. Again, managing apartments, a lot more work, take up a lot more time. If I could have retired financially free just on houses, looking back, maybe that would have been the way to go. It just takes more time, more issues. But again, this is our story. Just realize that being a landlord for apartments, you have more people in smaller space. Uh, People have issues. All of the kind of neighborly arguments we've ever had to deal with or have police called was in apartments, never in houses. Loud music, apartments, not houses. Too many cars, again, usually apartments. It occasionally happens on houses. So again, being a landlord, it's very different being a landlord for just houses versus being a landlord for a multifamily apartment building. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this landlord story. If you have questions for an experienced landlord, leave them below. And if you're still watching, make sure you hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see what kind of questions and see the channel grow. All right,